Hello, and welcome to my morning skincare routine / creative nonfiction output video, something like that. Anyways, but first I must remove the oils from my face from last night's skincare routine at 2 a.m. with this Himalaya facial wash and prepare my skin for the all other chemicals that are about to go onto my skin, as well as prepare you with the title of the article created by Timothy Scott, entitled UV Radiation and the Skin, short for ultraviolet rays. Okay, I have to admit, it's actually not an article, but it's more like a research. It's written by multiple people at the same time, but I'm just gonna involve Timothy Scott at one. Nonetheless, the material that I'm using to base off of this video is not actually the creative nonfiction itself, but this discussion and the video itself is the creative nonfiction. So, bear with me on this one. So the research starts off by saying, well, as they should, onto determining the different layers or the different, layers of the skin. As it turns out, the layers of the skin is composed of the dermis and the epidermis, wherein the epidermis is the most, or the outermost layer of the skin, and wherein the dermis is just beneath that. They went ahead to go and discuss the different layers and different functions of each of those and the certain scientific nonsense, not necessarily, the not so comprehensible by ordinary people, the scientific terms and its functions. But I figured that since the research utilizes too much jargons, I decided to not go deeper into that discussion. Pun intended. Following up with the definition of terms, they also went ahead to discuss the UV rays or the ultraviolet rays. This is vitamin C, can you guys see it? Yeah, there it is. Historically, humans have been exposed to UV radiation mainly through the cause of exposure to occupational sunlight. Yes, sunlight that is. Please wear your sunscreen. This is actually the main purpose of this video, but we'll get to that later on. And being a component of the electromagnetic spectrum, UV rays, photons, fall between the wavelengths of visible light and gamma rays. And as a recap for your science classes, because you are clearly not listening, the reach of the red and violet lights, according to the color spectrum, is arranged from the weakest energy to the highest energy, which means red light is weaker than that of the strongest, which is the violet lights. So I hope that makes sense for you to understand the ultraviolet rays. Ultraviolet rays is furthermore subdivided into two categories, which is the UVB and UVA ultraviolet rays. To simplify it for you, UVA are the longer rays, while the UVB rays are the shorter rays. So that makes sense of being the UVA rays are being able to penetrate deeper onto the dermis, while the UVBs can only penetrate through the epidermis, or not literally penetrate, just on the surface of your epidermis. In other words, UV radiation is classified as a complete carcinogen. If you don't know what that means, it means cancerous, having properties of both tumor initiator and a tumor promoter. So be careful with that. Although UV rays doesn't always imply negativity on the skin, UV also benefits human health by mediating the natural synthesis of vitamin D, which most people would call the happy vitamin because it all makes us happy. Like, you know, when the sun is out, we're all happy, but when it's raining and it's cloudy, we're suddenly so sad. That explains the vitamin D in that. Ang ingin ng airplane. And also synthesizes the endorphins onto our skin. I don't know what endorphins are anymore. Oh, so meaning to say UV radiation still has benefits, so that means if I'm sad, I can just go outside for as long as I want, because that means more time outside in the sun means more vitamin D. No? Idiot, let me finish. It's time for the main character of this video. Unprotected UVA and UVB exposures damages the DNA in our skin cells, producing genetic defects or mutations that can lead to skin cancer, as well as premature aging. That's why Food and Drug Administration suggests to us to use a minimum of sun protective factor of 15, but according to the American Academy of Dermatology, we use twice, which is an SPF of 30. I use 60, just 5 times the FDA. I don't know math. According to the same research, did you know that you can literally tell by just looking at a person whether he or she or they are prone to skin damage? They and the resources that they cited in the article suggests that fairer-skinned people are more susceptible to skin damage compared to people of color. Because of the natural skin pigmentation called melanin, people of color skins has a special ability to reflect the UV rays and therefore protect it from sun damage. So in the most extreme cases of albinism or albino, people having no melanin whatsoever are really susceptible to sun damage, and that's really bad for them, and let's pray for them. Or even better, donate sunscreen to our albino friends. Or even more better, if you don't have an albino friend, use your sunscreen. So in conclusion, even if you are spending thousands of pesos for your skincare, or even your luxurious Korean skincare line whatsoever, you are stupid if you're not going to take an account of using SPF. Just like me a couple of years ago when I started doing skincare. So you know the drill, don't be stupid, wear your SPF, stay pretty, and most importantly, be blessed by my sun protected beauty. In other words, bliss, bliss, oh bliss.